In the shadowy folds of time before time, the universe trembled under the heavy hand of Cronus, the Titan ruler. Cronus was no gentle sovereign. He was a god gripped by terror. He feared prophecy whispered by earth and sky that one of his own children would rise to overthrow him, just as he had betrayed his father Uranus and seized the throne. The very thought unmade his nights, and so Cronus acted with savage certainty. Each newborn child of his wife Rhea was swallowed whole at birth, a chilling act of devouring his own blood to hold on to power. One by one, his children, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, disappeared into his monstrous maw, swallowed into oblivion before ever seeing sunlight, the feast of a frightened god. Yet the hunger of Cronus was a slaughter of hope. But the time came for Rhea to act. The bitter grief of losing 5 children had hollowed her heart. Yet from this sorrow grew a desperate courage. When she conceived her 6th child, the youngest and most faithful son, she planned an act of cunning that would change destiny's course. Under the watchful eyes of Gaia, the Mother Earth, Rhea fled to the rugged, secretive island of Crete. There, nestled within the sacred shadows of a deep cave in the towering mountains, either Dictaean or Idaean, depending on the telling, she gave birth. The babe was Zeus. In these caves, dimly lit by flickering torchlight and echoing with the whispers of ancient powers, Zeus was hidden away from his ravenous father. The earth itself seemed to shield him from harm, cradling the infant whose fate would shape the cosmos. 2 nimble nymphs, Adrastea and Idaea, goddesses of protection and unyielding vigilance, became his guardians. Their care was fierce and tender. They fed the child not with mere milk, but with the divine essence from the legendary goat Amalthea. This mythical goat, with gentle eyes full of ancient kindness, nurtured the future king of gods. Honey from the sacred beehives on Mount Dictae was brought to infant Zeus, a sweetness as pure and sacred as his destiny. At the same time, the young warriors known as the Curetes guarded the cave's entrance. Each time Zeus cried, they raised their shields and clashed their swords to mute his cries from leaking beyond the cave's rocky walls, lest Cronus should hear and doom his son to the same fate as his siblings. All the while, away from the hidden cave, the cruel game continued. Rhea tricked the mighty Titan Cronus by presenting him not with a child, but with a boulder wrapped in swaddling cloths. Without suspicion, Cronus swallowed the stone, convinced his line of succession was safe. Zeus grew strong in secret, nurtured by divine hands, destined to rise and reclaim what was stolen. The secret of his survival spread slowly through the whispers of gods and mortals alike. Every heartbeat of the infant, Zeus matched the pulse of the earth, rumbling softly, gathering energy. The shadow of Cronus's tyranny loomed, but so too did the bright spark of rebellion. A question hangs heavy in the air. How does a god grow in the silence of imprisonment? How does hope flourish when every year another brother or sister is lost to darkness? Zeus grew, not only in strength, but in resolve, a storm gathering in the hidden cave, ready to unleash a power the universe had never known. The child of the secret cave, Zeus, had grown into a formidable force, stronger, wiser, and burning with the fierce fire of destiny. His time had come to challenge a dark reign that had swallowed his siblings and shackled the heavens for far too long. The war that followed would shake the very foundations of the universe. Zeus stood tall and proud among the gods, a god of storm and thunder, armed with weapons crafted by the mighty Cyclopes. These master smiths forged for him thunderbolts that crackled with the raw fury of the skies, a force no earthly weapon could match. The air around him shimmered with electric power, every breath resonating with the promise of change. But he did not stand alone. His brothers and sisters, freed from Cronos's belly and alive once more, joined him, as did some Titans who opposed Cronos's cruel rule. Together, they faced the might of Cronos and the old Titans in a war that would rage for 10 terrible years. Imagine the battlefield. Mountains crumbled under the thunderous clashes, earth quaked with each mighty blow, and the sky was tore apart by lightning and storm. Titans, who were older than mountains themselves, wielded forces beyond comprehension. Oceans roared, shadows loomed, and flames erupted at their command. Yet the gods of Olympus were relentless. The 100-handed giants, previously imprisoned beneath the earth, were freed by Zeus, and through their overwhelming strength against the Titans at crucial moments, smashing foes with their mighty arms. The Cyclops' thunderbolts seared the air, lighting up the chaos with primal fire. The battle was brutal, lasting years, each side unyielding, neither willing to surrender the sky and earth. Finally, hope erupted like a lightning bolt. The Titans, after ages of rain and destruction, began to crumble. Their power was broken, and the gods imprisoned them in Tartarus, a deep and shadowy abyss guarded by the fierce 100-handed giants to prevent their escape. With their chains forged in unbreakable bronze and eternal darkness surrounding them, the Titans' rule ended. With Titus defeated, Zeus and his siblings divided the cosmos. Zeus claimed the heavens, ruler of sky and gods. Poseidon took the seas, the wild, untamed waters beneath the horizon. Hades inherited the underworld, a realm of shadows and souls. Earth itself remained in common possession, with its fertile fields and mountains as the domain of all. Yet even as peace seemed to settle, the ancient Earth herself, Gaia, raged. The imprisonment of the Titans stirred her fury, and her wrath would birth a force darker and more dangerous. The earth itself trembled with fury after the Titans were overthrown and cast down. Gaia, Mother Earth, grieved and seethed with rage at the imprisonment of her mighty children, the Titans. From her depths, united in dark alliance with Tartarus, the cavernous abyss of torment and shadow, she birthed a new terror, Typhon, the most dreadful monster in all of Greek mythology. This creature would become the ultimate challenger to Zeus's rule. Typhon was a monstrous vision of chaos. Towering like a mountain, his form was a tangled horror. 100 serpent heads writhing with poisonous fire, with eyes that flashed blazing light. Wings spread wide, he could darken the skies, and from his mouth flames and fiery rocks rained destruction. His growls were the roar of storms and earth-shaking chaos incarnate. Gods and mortals alike trembled at this ancient primal force born from Gaia's wrath. Some legends say that Typhon sprang from Gaia's union with Tartarus after her grief over the Titans' defeat. Others give credit to Hera, Zeus's jealous wife, who, enraged by Zeus birthing Athena alone, prayed for a child stronger than Zeus and birthed Typhon herself, giving him to be raised by the serpent Python. Regardless of his exact origin, Typhon was a son of Earth's deepest fury, destined to challenge the Olympian order. His home was said to be in the rugged cliffs and deep caves of Cilicia, near the ancient city of Corycus. It was here he grew, nurtured by terrible power, until the day he rose to bring devastation upon Olympus and the world. Typhon's fury was Gaia's vengeance unleashed. Volcanoes erupted, storms raged, and the earth cracked under his footsteps. The gods were filled with terror. Even Zeus faced his greatest test. Typhon sought to overthrow the gods and reign supreme, a force of pure destructive chaos that threatened to undo creation itself. Yet his terrifying reign would not go unchallenged. The war between Zeus and Typhon erupted into an earth-shaking battle that would determine the fate of gods and men. The skies darkened ominously, and the earth groaned beneath the footsteps of Typhon, the monstrous harbinger of chaos. With 100 heads that hissed and breathed fire, he spread terror over both gods and mortals. His eyes glowed with a fiery rage. His voice was a deafening roar, shaking the very foundations of the world. Wherever he stomped, mountains trembled, rivers boiled, and storms unleashed their fury. Zeus, the mighty king of the gods, knew that this battle was not just for victory, but for the continuation of the cosmic order itself. Clad in his divine armor, eyes flashing with lightning, he faced Typhon without fear. With thunderbolts forged by the Cyclopes in his grasp, Zeus unleashed fury upon fury, each strike scorching Typhon's many heads. But Typhon was no mere brute. He was a force of elemental chaos, wild and untamable, and he fought with a terrifying strength that nearly overwhelmed the heavens. The two titanic forces clashed in a battle of elemental fury. Where Zeus brought storms and thunder, Typhon responded with fire and earthquakes. The very air trembled with their rage, the seas roared, and the sky flashed with lightning and flame. The war was apocalyptic. At one point, the tide turned against Zeus. Typhon's monstrous power struck the thunder god down, cutting off Zeus's sinews and scattering them to the winds. But the gods never abandoned their king. Hermes, the swift messenger, stole Typhon's powerful wings, grounding the beast and turning the tide once more in favor of Olympus. Gathering his strength, Zeus struck with renewed wrath. His thunderbolts blazed brighter than ever, burning away each of Typhon's heads until the monstrous terror lay smoldering and broken. Seizing Typhon, Zeus hurled him deep into Tartarus, the darkest abyss where the Titans had been locked away. Bound in chains beneath the earth, Typhon's fury was contained, but not extinguished, his rage manifesting in storms and volcanic eruptions that continued to threaten gods and mortals alike. Typhon's union with Echidna, the half-woman, half-serpent, bore monstrous offspring: Orthrus, the two-headed dog; Cerberus, the hellhound; the Lernaean hydra; and the chimera, beasts forever woven into the fabric of myth and terror. After the earth-shaking battles and the subjugation of chaos itself, the gods stood victorious, but faced a new challenge: how to govern the cosmos. The Titans defeated and the monstrous Typhon thrown into the shadowy abyss of Tartarus, a new era began, one of order forged from the fires of conflict. To divide the vast realms, Zeus drew lots with his brothers. The fate of the world hung in balance as the siblings awaited their share. The sky, the vast and eternal domain above, was claimed by Zeus, the thunderer and ruler of all gods and mortals. This was a realm of infinite power, where clouds swirled with his command and where he sent lightning to enforce justice and order. Poseidon, god of the seas, took dominion over the ever-moving waters, the oceans, rivers, and all aquatic depths. His trident could stir tempests or calm the waves, and his moods mirrored the mercurial nature of the sea itself. Hades received the underworld, the mysterious and somber kingdom of the dead. Though often feared, Hades ruled with strict fairness, ensuring the soul's passage and balance between life and death. Earth itself was held in common among the gods. a shared sanctuary for mortals and deities alike, fertile and bountiful. Yet it was under Zeus's overarching power that law and harmony were maintained. As supreme god, Zeus was the divine shepherd of both gods and humans, upholding the laws that shaped the cosmos. The gods who banded around Zeus, the Olympians, were many and varied in their roles. Hera, his queen, was the protector of marriage and family, fierce in her loyalty and dignity. Demeter presided over the earth's fertility, nurturing the cycles of growth and harvest. Hestia guarded the sacred hearth, the symbolic center of home and community. Together, they wove a complex tapestry of divine influence over natural and human affairs. But Zeus's dominion was not without trials. Thank you for joining this epic journey into the heart of Greek mythology. If these ancient tales inspired you, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Your support brings the gods and heroes to life once more.